I want to conclude this section by how do we find the distance between 2 points. Here's point A, here's point B. So this, I'll just connect like this. And then the distance is the length of the hypotenuse. Well, we know this, we know the radius here, that's, I'll call radius 1, and this is radius 2, and this is angle 1, and this is angle 2. Well, I have a triangle, I have 2 sides, and I can calculate the included angle, and that angle is, the angle inside the triangle is theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, so now we have the law of cosines. And so the distance squared will equal radius 1 squared plus radius 2 squared minus 2 radius 1 radius 2 times the cosine of theta 2 minus theta 1. And if I want the distance, I want to solve it for distance, I just take the square root of both sides. And there we end up using the law of cosines in order to find the distance between 2 points. Let's see if we can do that. Let's let point A be 3 at pi over 4. And we'll let B be 5 at 3 pi over 4. Okay? And so now to find the distance will be the square root of 3 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 3 times 5 times the cosine of pi over 3 minus pi over 4 is 2 pi over 4, or pi over 2. Okay? Here's the unit circle. Pi over 2 is up here. And we can see the cosine is 0. And so this becomes 0. And we drop it off. And so the distance will just be the square root of 9 plus 25, which is the square root of 34. Now, I chose those because it means that these two were sides of a right angle. And so that's why it's just one leg, the square root of one leg squared plus the other leg squared, because the angle between them was 90 degrees. When polar directions are at right angles, we use the word orthogonal, which means at right angles, or perpendicular. Okay. Well, that worked out kind of nice, but let's try one that isn't maybe quite so nice. Let's do 3 at 5 pi over 3 and 4 at 1 pi over 3. what's the distance between those? The distance will be 3 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 3 times 4 times the cosine of 5 pi over minus this is 4 pi over 3. Cosine of 4 pi over 3. Well, what's the cosine of 4 pi over 3? Well, that's here, and the cosine is -1/2. So the distance will equal the square root of 9 plus 16 minus 6 times 4 is 24 times 1/2. Actually, it's -1/2. And so the distance equals the square root of 9 plus 16 plus 12, 25, 35, 37. The distance equals the square root of 37. So that's how we find the distance between 2 points when the points are written in polar coordinates.